Hello everyone, and thank you for registering in my course, Canadian North Ted Harrison Exciting Art Project. My name is Bogdan Korol-Konikowski, and I am both an accomplished artist, painter, and educator. I reside in Edmonton, Alberta. In this pre-recorded video, I will have the privilege to share with you the fun-generating hands-on art project that will make every student feel successful and engaged. You can adjust the level of difficulty according to the grade level you teach. The art materials used in this video are easily accessible at any store carrying the art supplies, including Walmart and Dollarama. There is also always an alternative if your art room does not have specific art materials I ask for. You can substitute them with the other ones. For example, if you don't have watercolors, use tempera or acrylic paint instead. While watching the video, make sure to pause it regularly so that you can follow with the recreating the project step on at your own. After completing the steps, follow through the next one until your own project is completed. And remember, our goal as educators is make sure that students feel relaxed and stimulated in our classrooms. Art is a powerful medium that provides a release and space for positive reflection. For your convenience, in addition to this step-by-step instructional video, I will provide you with the complimentary PowerPoint presentation and a link to this video that will be accessible to you for a permanent use in your classroom. If you will need additional support, please contact me at the email posted at the end of this video. So now it's time to begin our artistic journey. Let's go.
We will begin with making a decision which image we will be using as our reference image. Then, of course, we have to choose materials that we will be using for this particular project. As you could see, we will use oil pastels, or if you teach younger grades, wax crayons, pencil to sketch, eraser if you will need such, and a set of watercolors. Masking tape is also very useful since we want to have nice white frames around the edges of our lovely project. Sketch has to be done using just the outlines. The project doesn't need to be exact depiction of what we'll see in front of us. If the whale will move a little bit on one side or another, that's okay too. If you want to add additional birds or even another big fish, that should be fine as well. What is important, we are looking for a strong composition. Once the sketch is completed, we want to erase any extra lines that we don't want to include in our art project. Then we make the decision which color will be used for which line. You can make a conscious decision that all the lines will be completed with the same color, or maybe you decide that some of them should be created with a variety of different colors. This decision will affect the general look of your artwork. And of course, which colors will you be choosing to paint? If you have very small objects, such as for example the small fish or birds, don't look for any specific details. That will be impossible to perform or do using heavy or very white oil pastel sticks. Concentrate on general look. And remember, at the end, you are the artist. You want to bring the feel, or general feel, of how the artworks of Ted Harrison are created. But at the end, it is your own artwork and you can introduce changes the way you want to have them included. Time to apply colors. I like to start from the top with the color of the sky, and I'm also very careful how I apply the paint. I try to achieve similar tones throughout particular stripes of or section in my painting. Of course, not always is it possible, but as much as we can be precise, we will try to do it. It's an excellent exercise for our children as well, to practice to be patient and to practice to be precise. By applying the colors using watercolors, we want to make sure that we will only color or paint the parts that are encompassed by lines completed with oil pastels or wax crayons. We don't want to move to other sections unless we have one section next to another and we want to keep the same color. For the bigger sections, use a little bit wider brush. The pointed is good only for the details. For those kind of paintings, you can consider using either filbert or flat brush, the one that I'm using. I'm carefully filling all the shapes contained within the oil pastel lines. I'm still considering which colors will fit into my color composition. So there's still room for me to make the decisions. If maybe the color could be on the green side, or maybe I could continue with the blue color. Which color will be the birds? Because they not necessarily have to be white. They can be even yellow. Who knows, maybe that would work for the composition. Have maybe even two brushes, flat or filbert shape, so that if you want to move from one bright color, such as yellow, and then in other section you want to use, let's see, blue color, then even when you will wash the brush, you still can have some residues of particular pigments left that will affect the new color that you will intend to apply. So for example, having some yellow pigment left on the brush and then trying to get blue color with the same brush, you can finish with a green color if the brush will be not well washed. So just to make sure that you will be on the safe side, it's good for such drastic color application to have 2 or even 3 brushes. Additionally, it's good to have a couple of pieces of the paper towel. And the reason for it is that sometimes we have too much of water or paint on our brush. Instead of later on fighting with moving the paint on the surface of our paper, instead we can simply remove the excess of water with a piece of paper towel. If you don't like certain color, or if you need to enrich the particular color, you can do it by applying another layer of paint, this time a different color, on top of the color that you decided to change. For the really very small details, you can also use markers. In my case, I decided to use marker and I use Sharpie because Sharpie will not bleed into the wet paint. So I used the blue Sharpie to create the trees. After removing the masking tape pieces, I have my lovely painting within the white frames. For those of you who would like to have another image, this time including people, I have a bonus project. This time we will create a landscape including a building. Since this is a bigger building, maybe this will represent a school or any government building. Then we have igloo. We can create a road leading us to the big government building or school. And at the same time, we can practice how to create depth of space by making the road becoming narrower going into the space. And of course, our sketch that we begin our project with has to be completed with a pencil. I recommend HB pencil, and while working with it, please don't press the pencil hard. Otherwise, any line that you will not like will be very difficult to remove. Now we do something different. We will use markers first, or you can use highlighters or markers, again Sharpies, to create lines. In the previous project we used oil pastels. This time we have markers. We go on top of our structures and with Sharpies create the outlines of the objects. Try to change the colors, moving from one object to another, so that the painting could look interesting. Because when you look at paintings done by Ted Harrison, one of the great qualities of his painting is that they are very colorful. They are so-called happy paintings. And remember, all what we want to do is the general look. We don't need to concentrate on any details. now it's time to move to the painting part. We will be using our watercolors and we will carefully apply them so that we will avoid applying paint on the lines created with Sharpies. By using watercolors, we should be aware that we can always darken all the colors, all of the tones of colors that we apply, but we will not have the chance to get the colors lighter. So this is a very important information that should be shared with the students. Often they are very disappointed when they notice that despite their need of changing the color to the lighter one or the tone of the color, they are not able to do it. And then they ask us to use acrylics or tempera paints. Well, that would be okay too. However, this is not the intention here. So right away from the beginning, we have to be aware that we can only get darker and darker and darker in terms of the tones of our colors. So if we are not sure if we want to have dark, let's see, dark purple or light purple applied on the water, the best is just to start with the light tone. And if later on we decide that the color is not dark enough, we can apply another layer of paint. When we think about the snow, we not necessarily have to represent all the parts of it in white. When we see igloo or when you draw igloo, we also are accustomed to see the surface similar or very similar in tone to the pure white as the snow. And so as here in our case, we see the footsteps already covered with blue. So the light blue applied in the sections representing snow or surface covered with snow, we accept this part or this color to represent snow. Just a couple more decisions here and there, because it's important for us to create a nice harmony among the colors applied. So if we need to slightly darker the tone of particular color, then we can still do it. Remember, when we will come to removing the masking tape to create those beautiful white frames, you can only do it once the painting is dry. Otherwise, you will tear or you will remove masking tape with some parts of your painting. So that's it for our project. I hope that you enjoyed working on both of them, and now it's time for you to create your own paintings. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.